Good morning, Afghanistan. Hope everyone is doing well this AM. I recorded a podcast last night. It was a bit saucy. And I did what I should have done, which is I slept on it and I woke up and realized I'm like, I don't think that's really what I want out there representing me. So I deleted it. Unfortunately, there will be no Snyder/director's cut. But for those that know me, you can guess what a fiery version of me was. I slept on it, and I like to do that sometimes. I'll do something, and I'll just sleep on it and go. I tell my subconscious, and I don't remember where I read this, but I'll say, "Okay, subconscious, think on this, sort it out. Tell me what you want to do." And I'll wake up from a good night's sleep, and I'll say, "Oh, okay. Actually, that is how I want that." So the subconscious is amazing. I recommend all of you talk to yourselves, probably more than you already do, and talk to your subconscious and say, "Hey, I'm trying to sleep on this idea. What do you think?" And actually, now that I said that out loud, I think that was from a Tim Ferriss podcast with Josh Waitskin. I think he does something like that where he'll actually do it throughout the day where he'll tell his subconscious to work on a thought while he's doing something else. And then, for example, like you could say, I'm going to go to the gym, say, all right, I want to figure out how I want to phrase this at a meeting. Go to the gym, come back, and then write down what your thoughts are. Because you put it there, you set it, you let your brain figure it out, you do something else and come back to it. Kind of interesting. And here you thought I was just going to rant about Afghanistan. I did have a thought on that. I have a young son now. He's a little over 2 months old. And I can't imagine if I had a 2-month son, 2-month-old son on 9/11 when this happened, and then to be at Dover about 20 years later, seeing his or her casket come in. I think that we all failed all those Marines. And I don't think it's just when I say we, I mean, it's like a collective society. One of the things that I've learned my 34 years on this earth, but more recently is like, you got to have soul. And I think that's the thing I'm learning that really upsets me the most about what's going on currently is there's no rhythm. There's no good flow to life right now. We keep getting disrupted. And I think that's my biggest issue with just Western society in general is there's no good flow right now. Like we've built these lovely skyscrapers and we're going to Mars and we're doing all this really cool stuff and people are amazing, but we keep doing things that kill the flow. Like I posted the other day on Facebook about childhood obesity. We're failing these kids flat out. 5 and 11-year-olds should not be getting more obese. That's an issue. They're already obese. Well, that's awful. What are we doing? Why are we poisoning kids with sugar? And that's a whole nother topic of food and how big food I think is essentially the devil. But just in general, Western society needs some rhythm. We need some flow, and I think that comes. I think a lot of my issues with that come from people on, and not just people, but like the left in general. The left is killing all that cancel culture. We're canceling people that want to joke about other. Like we have to be able to joke about each other. We have to be able to laugh at each other and some of the ridiculous stuff going on. And I think that's why you do see some of the more popular comedians, like you saw the Greg Gutfeld show, which I don't watch, is doing better than Colbert and Fallon, which I absolutely don't watch because they're not that funny. And Fallon had his moments, but and Colbert used to be amazing, but he's just kind of a shill for the Democratic Party. And it's just, go look at his guest list over the last couple months and it explains everything you need. But we need more rhythm. We need more soul. And that's like, one of the things that bothers me the most about this pandemic has been no singing in church. When we have to bring back singing in church. I know I said that before, but that kills me about Pritzker. And I respect Governor Pritzker. I mean, he's an elected official. He's my boss. But you got to bring back singing in church. People have to have that connection to God and each other. And we have to get over that. Yes. And another thing is this whole idea of playing everything safe. America was not built to play everything safe. We literally looked in the eye of the British. We looked over there, right? The whites of the eyes. And we said, F you, buddy. F you. This is our country. And we're going to do whatever it takes. We're sick of your taxation without representation. We're going to dress up like Native Americans. We're going to throw a bunch of tea over, and we're going to declare independence from you assholes. And I'll do a disclaimer at the end, but yeah, there'll be a little swearing today. But yeah, that's what we did. And then we traveled across the continent. We settled the West. We didn't just play everything safe. We didn't just huddle inside with masks, doing this. And that's the same thing with the media, with the CNNs of the world. And Fox News has their own issues. Don't get me wrong. But that's my issue with some of the, MSDNC, and they deserve that title. They 100% deserve title. They are the enemy of the people. They want you huddled inside, afraid of everything going on. Go look at some of the comments on Twitter of some of the pro, like keeping things safe, mask, and against people that are, labeling people anti-vax. Go read some of those tweets. They're horrific. They're mean. They're mean and they're disgusting. And I don't think that, and to me, I read those, I think those people are just screwed up. I think they've been broken, and we have to put things together. We need rhythm. We need harmony. We need some soul. We need to bring that back. And I just look at everything going on, not just over the last 20 years, but just like this trend of look at our lives, right? We're waking up, we're running around we get a little bit of time with our family, and then we're going to our job. I'm fortunate enough I have a career. I love what I'm doing now. But a lot of people just go to jobs. They're just going to a job. They're just got to make money. Because why? Because then we have a mortgage, and we have all these other big things that we have mortgage and car payments. And we come home, we try to have a meal. And if it's both working parents, well, then who's doing all that? We've made things, but society has made things so expensive now that we have to have two working parents, and the parents are saving because the kids need to go to this college. My parents sent both my brother and I to college, and everyone involved has or had loans. It was expensive. So parents are saving to do that. And then you got to save for retirement. And then you have these extravagant costs in retirement. I can't tell you how many times in wealth management I had clients that had millions of dollars that almost went down to nothing because they ended up in nursing homes where it was like 10 to 12 grand a month. So even if you do everything right, potentially you send your kid to a great college. Look at what Yale and Harvard, these are woke factories. I know multiple people, and I really like them, that went to these institutions, but they're super left. And it's like you could do everything right in your entire life. You could be this Christian, somewhat conservative person. I'm not saying like beat the drum conservative, but just like a conservative person. Like I pay my taxes. I like my roads fixed. I kind of want government to just leave me alone. I'll deal with it by one. And you do all this stuff, and then you send your kid to college, and they come back and they're like, capitalism is murder. It's like, what? And then you go, okay, well, now I got to save for retirement. And it's just all the stuff we're doing. We have to rethink what we're doing. And although I can't indulge in them now because I'm in the U.S. Army, one of the things I've done readings on, and I think that Rogan and Tim Ferriss do a good job of highlighting, is plant medicine. And we need to look at more like Mother Earth. Like, what are some of the things that we can do? And it doesn't have to be the mushrooms necessarily, the ayahuasca, but even like certain tobaccos. Like maybe like there's so much more to this earth that we're not exploring, that we need to push. And we need to look at some of the old tribes and what they did. And I do like that there is more of a push to decriminalize some like mushrooms, for example. Like I think there's been a lot of health benefits because I've read Michael Pollan. I forgot the book, but How to Make You Think. I think like How to Change Your Mind. And I've read that book, and I think it's very interesting. What some of these plant medicines can do for people that have PTSD. That's another thing is medicine is just, I feel like a lot of times it's just, here's your bag of pills. And we have 30 million people on antidepressants. Big pharma, I think big pharma does kill. I think there have been wonderful medicines that have been discovered, but like, I think big pharma in general, they do kill. Like the Sackler family, they're murderers, and they should not be off the hook. And in fact, they should be on the hook for more than they probably are. But we need to not just treat sickness. We need to raise health. And that's my other issue with some of these elected officials, and Trump is in my ire too. We need to like start working out. We need people looking healthy and acting like it. And so maybe our next president, as much as I do love Trump, maybe he needs to be someone in his 40s or 50s that is active and works out. Biden, I have a lot of issues with the Biden administration. I think their priorities are terrible. I think that generally speaking, I don't like that they were all had to be woken up from their vacations Anthony Blinken was like hanging out in the Hamptons, and they had like, oh, by the way, hey, Kabul's falling. Like, we need you to come back. Which also cracks me up that he came back and he gives these very calm speeches. It's like, dude, I'd be pissed if someone interrupted my vacation and talk about, hey, by the way, this whole thing is like just completely falling apart. But yeah, I just feel like this administration too, like there's just no soul there. It's just very just like, we have to, everything's just got to be safe and we got to wear masks. Like, I want to see people's expressions, and think about people in the deaf community and the hearing impaired communities. They need to see people's expressions. If everyone just wearing masks all day, how do they know what's going on? We don't even talk about that. And then we're masking up these kids. We had them virtually in school for a year. That was a disgrace. And one of the ideas I have, and I need to flesh this out more in my infinite time, is we need to have a guardian ad litem for students. What I mean by that is, we have a teachers union and they protect teachers, and that's great. But the students are the ones that need the protecting. Especially, go look at some of the years of Cook County, look some of the abuses that have happened to kids in Cook County. Kids need help, and kids need to be protected. So maybe we need some sort of guardian ad litem program for kids to battle the teachers unions. There's just a lot of going on. And I think that this Afghanistan debacle is just a symptom of the ills going on in Western society. And we need to really rethink how we're doing everything. And the people are wonderful. I think some of the leaders are trying, but I don't know what are they trying for the next election cycle, or are they trying to look 50 years out, 100 years out? What do we want society to look like? And if we're constantly battling over the newest, rage, it is awful that 13 or 14 Marines died. It is awful that we allegedly drone strike a car with 7 children in the name of fighting terrorism. And these things do not need to be forgotten. We need to bring them up, but like, it can't be bringing them up to just bring up in the next election cycle as, look at how bad that side is. Look at what they did. Look at what they did. It needs to be, why were we there for 20 years? What was going on for those 20 years? Who were the contractors involved? How much money flowed to that country? What did it go to? Like, for some reason, government doesn't need to have ROI. No, of course it needs to have return on investment. What was the return on investment? What did we do? It makes me sick to watch the Taliban wearing my OCPs, flying Black Hawk helicopters and flying them while hanging people. It makes me sick. Was that return on, what was our return on investment there? We need to have honest, frank, open conversations. We can't just call people racist, sexist, supremacist, communists. We have to be able to talk to each other, and we need to do that. And it can be hostile discourse, not physical violence, but hostile discourse, because we need to really rethink how we're looking at society in general. I love all of you, and we need more love in the universe. We need to have more soul, more rhythm, more flow. And you can see that with certain people. And I think I gravitate towards them. And again, this is, both people on the left and the right have these issues, but it does seem like the left, they're the ones that, it's like they're right now, they're the puritanical kind of ones, right? We've had people on the right with the religious right being, cancel, being all like the whatever. Now it's on the left with kind of more the atheist left, saying, canceling everyone and big religion, big not talking, big words, big government, big corporations. And, we canceled mom and pop stores during the pandemic to sell out to Amazon and Walmart and Facebook. That's terrible. That's terrible. All those companies need to be broken up, and we need to invite more growth. We need to support our smaller businesses, and we need to support our families. And so that's the message I leave you with. I want you to meditate on this and think about it. It's like, how can we change society, not for the next election cycle? And I love President Trump. If he ran again, I'd have to seriously think about voting for him. But like, do we want someone that old, who right now, who thinks this idea of a good idea, and he's had many good ideas, made great ideas, but he just posts these blogs that don't hit. It's like, why are you not putting out videos every day, dude? You should be like Churchill during when England was getting bombed every night, going out there and talking about what's going on, especially with Afghanistan. Like, it should be going on every night. It shouldn't be just me having this idea. Like, he should be doing that every night. So I think we need we need a younger group of leaders to emerge and always challenge that. And we need new thoughts, and we need to think about how we want to reshape things, not for the next 2 years, not for the next 4 years, not just next 20, next 50, next 100. What do we want this country to look like? Because we are the leaders of the free world. You saw people handing their babies over to those Marines to get them out of Afghanistan. And you saw people trying to get on that plane to get out of Afghanistan to this country. We are still the leaders of the free world, and people look up to us. And we need to act like it, and we need to be the best that we can. And we need to really rethink what we want things to look like, because the Trudeaus of the world, I think they want you eating crickets. Stay in your house, wear your masks, and let government take care of it. No, that's not how this works. We are a free people, and we need to act like it. I love you all, and have a great day.